The a-hole for telling my stepdad and mom that they shouldn't be surprised at what my little brother said to them when they pulled a prank on him. I, 20 female, am an older sister to my little biological brother, 17 male, who finished high school last year. My little brother and I are really close. He says I'm the best friend he has and he loves me more than anyone. Of course, this is not true. He has many friends of his own. My brother has been asking our stepdad/mother if he could get a new car for his graduation party since last year, and he said he'd pay 50 to 75% with his own hard-earned money while they pay the rest. They said no. I have a car, but I had been working for one, and they helped me pay it off. So my brother's arguments with our parents got heated after a while. One time, I told my brother that I'd help him pay off expenses for a good car once I got my own. He hugged me and said I didn't need to worry, and that he owed me way more than I owed him. But he continued to press our parents all of last year until they gave in and said yes like they did for me. Note that our stepdad and my brother have a negative relationship for the most part. Our boy mother and stepdad got together soon after our boy dad and mom divorced when we were little. My brother thinks that stepdad and mother were seeing each other before our real parents divorced. And to be honest, I think that might be true. Not certain though. Anyway, my stepdad, mother, and brother compromised and said they'd get him the car in 2021 so that people don't gawk at him at the graduation party. June this year, my brother and stepdad/mother are still on about the car. Now the argument's getting loud and lasting hours until evening. My stepdad was getting into screaming matches with my brother over it, but they reached a final compromise of the car being bought last week. The fated morning comes, and my brother wakes up to our stepdad and mom guiding him outside to a car. But not his, our mother's. Stepdad used his and my brother's money on a dumb prank, bought a completely different model of car, and said it was for our mother. Our mom and stepdad just laughed and kissed each other. My brother didn't lose it. He didn't even look angry. He just looked dead in our stepdad's eyes and said, "I'm not joking." Verbatim, "You might think I'm freaking stupid. You might think whatever. But I'm just better than you, bro. You know that. I know that. And our mom is a freaking idiot for staying with a prick like you. But I'll make you wish you'd never freaking met us. I promise you. You might be laughing now, but you'll be crying later." He then walked off, not even looking back at them as they stared horrified. They asked me what was that about, and I, feeling terrible for my brother, said they had it coming and not to be surprised. So now they grounded both of us. I've had to explain the situation to my friends as I can't see them anymore, but I feel so bad for my baby brother and they back me up on this. They ask me to comfort him as much as possible. But our parents are so mad, and they can't see that my brother had his heart crushed. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before the little update. Not the a-hole. Your brother is a better person than I am because I would be blasting stepdad/mother everywhere. I'd call the local news stations and ask if they are interested in a story of parents stealing from their child. I'd tell family, friends, people at church, random strangers on the street, post about it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, make a YouTube video, everything. Your mother is the worst for letting someone do this to her child. I want to say so many things that would get me permanently banned. Not the a-hole. I will pay for the lawyer. Wait. So your parents used 75% of your brother's money to buy themselves a car as a prank? Yes, as awful as it sounds. My brother is destroyed by my mother especially. Can't your brother report this? They stole his money. That isn't a prank. That is financial abuse. They stole from him. And since this is a car, they stole, what, thousands? A prank would have ended with him getting the car, or at the very least getting his share of the money back. It isn't a prank if you make a profit off of it. They stole from him, full stop. Then they laughed about it. They should be ashamed. Also, what they did isn't legal, especially if your brother is 18. Keep any text or documentation that it was agreed upon, just in case. I don't understand how they think they can ground a 17-year-old, never mind a 20-year-old. Pranks are mean. They're an atrocious form of humor. More bullying than humor, really. Your brother's money was stolen. He should make a report to the police. Not the a-hole. The only good pranks are reversible. Harmless jokes that aim to confuse, not harm or scare or bully, and have no lasting effects. People do some incredibly mean-spirited, heinous stuff in the name of prank sometimes. Update. Thank you everyone. All the insights mean a lot. I'm working on talking to my brother on a potential legal action like a lawsuit to get the expenses back from our stepfather. My bio-dad is generally nice and loving to us. I think he barely tolerates our stepdad and his ex-wife, our mother. And he'll take us back in full time if the law allows it. If not, my brother and I will move in together to our own place. Right now, I'm trying to be there for my little brother as much as possible. Lots of cuddles and free food, but he won't stop bawling his eyes out. I'm worried psychological harm has been done to him. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to babysit my kid's half-sibling? 2 years ago, I found out my ex cheated. He was trying to win me back after I kicked him out, but stopped when he found out his other woman was pregnant. They got married and now have a daughter together who just turned 1. Ex and I have 2 kids together, 14 male and 13 female. The kids are primarily with me because ex lives 3 hours from the kids' school. They see him every other weekend, extended weeks in summer, and alternating holidays. He and I are civil around the kids, but I ignore any and all communication with him outside of that. And he has tried to communicate with me. And so has his wife, but I ignore her completely, and I refuse any communication with her after she called me the C word for saying no to sharing Mother's Day with her the first year of their relationship being official. The kids know Dad cheated because of their ages, and the fact he left home and moved in with her within a couple of weeks. I told them they don't need to hate Dad for me, and put them in therapy, but they have a very strained relationship with him because of his actions. Our breakup has been so hard on them, and I feel horrible that I can't make it better for them. I say all this to provide context for the situation. X sent me a text Sunday afternoon asking me to watch his daughter overnight because he and his wife had a family emergency they needed to deal with, and the babysitter didn't pick up. I sent a simple reply of no, and didn't respond after that. Turns out her father was dying in the hospital, and X wasn't there with her because the hospital don't allow visitors under 16 since COVID. He has blown up my phone every day since. I'm still ignoring it. Now, part of me questions if I was the a-hole though. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. She's not your kid, and their situation isn't your problem. Sounds like a horrible thing to say, but it's the truth. And they live 3 hours away. Like, oh yeah, cool. I'll just drive 3 hours to watch your baby that you had when you cheated on me. This guy thinks he's God's gift or think Opie's a doormat? Lol, ridiculous. It's telling the only person neither of them could turn to is Opie. The ex who lives 3 hours away and generally won't speak to them unless it's about the kids. Not family, not friends, not friend acquaintances. Tells you a lot about how unpleasant these people are. Not the a-hole. And warn him of repercussions if he continues to harass his ex like this. Also make sure to tell your kids they're not live-in babysitters in the summer. This so much. I bet they love having the young teens around to care for their little sister, so they can be absent-minded parents or go out on a date night. Not the a-hole. You're 3 hours away? What? They don't have anyone neither of them cheated on within 3 hours. The freaking balls on this guy. And her LMAO sharing Mother's Day. I'm just going to assume she knew he was married during the affair. Not that it'd make a difference on your answer. Just the absolute balls on these people. I can't even believe it. It really pissed me off that she reacted how she did to my saying no. It's not like she'd even known my kids a year at that point. And being honest, it seemed ballsy given what had happened. She had a husband who could babysit his own child. She wanted him there. He wanted to be there. It couldn't happen. I do get it to an extent, but I was not the person to ask. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for leaving my dad's early instead of babysitting? Haven't seen my dad in almost 7 months because I, 23 male, live like half a day away with my girlfriend. Last weekend, I decided to ask for some time off to go see my pops. And I asked if it was cool for me to stay there so we can hang out and do something on Saturday. My dad said that would be great. He seemed happy about it, so I thought that was the plan. I made a drive, got there by Friday night, and slept on the couch at his place. My dad has a wife, and they have my little brother, 6. Saturday morning, my stepmom said me and my brother should go to the beach or something fun out of the house. But I told her, well, my dad and I had plans to have some guy time. My brother could come though, no problem. but she said they had plans already. When I talked to my dad, he said he was sorry. Said my stepmom got all excited after he told her I was coming, and she thought this would be a great time for them to go out. Guess they were gonna do a spa day, go out to eat, then movies. It was gonna take the whole day, but my dad thought we could do something together on Sunday. But Sunday was literally when I was leaving. Probably have like 2 hours to spend time together before I needed to be on the road. I got pretty mad at him. I told him I didn't drive for hours to babysit. Whole point of coming out was to spend time with him. He kept saying he's sorry, that my stepmom just jumped at it and he doesn't want her feeling bad. Then she butt in and said I should be happy to spend time with my brother, especially with me staying at their house for free. Well, I told my dad there's no point in me staying if we're only gonna have a couple hours to hang out. So I just got my stuff and made a drive back home. She thinks I was a huge a-hole now for being bratty instead of doing something nice for them. They couldn't even got out after I left. I was mad when I left because of the change of plans with literally no warning. But I don't know if I was an a-hole for basically doing the same thing to them and refusing to babysit my brother so they could have their time. To me, it just wasn't fair to waste all my time there when I wasn't gonna be able to do what I went there to do. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. You went to visit your dad, and your stepmom saw a free babysitter for some alone time with him instead. She knew she was wrong. She tried to hide the spa day by suggesting a brother's beach trip. If she needs alone time with him that badly, she can hire a babysitter. You were cheated out of quality time with your dad, and shame on him for not sticking up for you and saying he wants to spend time with you while you're there to visit him. This father is weak and pathetic that he can't stand up for his own son. If I were the OP, I'd be making it another 7 months before seeing him. Call me when you want to be my dad instead of just her husband. Not a-hole. Edit. Yikes. Do we all have crappy parents that always prioritize their significant others over their kids? Especially with me staying at their house for free. What? Does she expect you to pay to visit your dad for a day? Does she not understand the concept of visiting your parent? Her comment pissed me off almost more than her actions did. I'm really curious what she was implying, because that's just gross. It's not like you crashed on the couch because you needed some place to stay. Not a-hole. She's an entitled brat. Not a-hole. Did you drive up? Because that long a drive must have cost you quite a bit in gas. Not a-hole at all. You haven't seen your dad in 7 months, and the first thing your stepmom thinks is free childcare? What an incredibly entitled and selfish woman. Your dad is no better because he just went along with her nonsense. Hugh absolutely did the right thing. In her mind, it isn't free childcare. It's an exchange for allowing him to use the couch for 1 whole night. That makes it even worse. Last story is titled, Am I the a-hole for turning my stepmom and my dad laughingstock in front of the whole family? Recently, my dad and my stepmom, Sarah, decided to renew their vows. Since they both cheated on their partners, they feel the wedding experience was ruined for them. They wanted a small get-together at their house to discuss some plans with the whole family. My wife, 25 female and I, 30 male, informed them that we couldn't make it because my wife had to attend an engagement party with my mom, 52 female, but they insisted that my wife and my mom come directly to their house after their party. My wife is Indian, so she dressed up in her traditional attire and made my mom wear it too because she really wanted to wear a sari and they both looked gorgeous. So when they arrived at the house, everyone, my dad's side of the family and Sarah's friends, were fawning over them. And if I'm not wrong, some of Sarah's male friends were hitting on my mom. We were just hanging around the living room area when I saw my twin sons, 4 male, starting a fight because one of them has something and the other one gets jealous, so I ran to put a stop to them because they might break it. When I went there, I saw Sarah and my dad just sitting on the sofa. So I asked them what happened, and they told me they feel the attention has been shifted from them. I knew they meant my wife and my mom. While they were telling me this, my twins started fighting again. So I said, "Boys, if you don't stop getting jealous of each other like your grandfather and Sarah, I will put all 4 of you in timeout." Some of my dad and Sarah's friends heard it and started laughing, and soon it became a laughing matter. It died down when they announced they were renewing their vows and everything, so the dinner went well and we left. The next day, I got a call from both my dad and Sarah telling me how much of an a-hole I was and how I made them a laughingstock in front of everyone. So I told them I wouldn't have done it if they hadn't acted like children. I have been getting texts from my brother saying I was an a-hole for ruining their day. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? Info, why did your dad want your mom there? That's the weirdest part of the story. My best guess is they thought that if Opie's mom was there being happy and accepting of them, then their marriage would stop feeling so tainted due to the fact that they cheated on their respective ex-spouses, and everyone else would start being happy and accepting of their marriage and forget the fact that they cheated on their respective ex. My mom and dad are cordial with each other. They don't have any bad blood. Or you could just say my saint of a mom forgave him for cheating and holds no resentment towards him or Sarah. Not an a-hole. They had their day on their wedding, and they screwed that up. Why would they want your mother to come to their house to help plan her ex-husband's vow renewal to his new wife? Good on your mom and wife for stealing the show. They should have accepted that your wife had a previous engagement. Your dad and his wife sound exhausting. Maybe they will stay mad long enough that you will be disinvited to the renewal. They had their day on their wedding, and they screwed that up. Yeah, that was going to be a given since they cheated on their respective ex-spouses. I doubt anyone at the wedding was happy for them at all since they ripped two families to be there. Mutual adultery is a big mood/happiness killer. Not an a-hole. You're an opportunist, not an a-hole. Dad and Sarah are only mad because it's true. They'll get over it. Disregard and carry on, I say. Thanks.
Update. Am I the a-hole for refusing to forgive my dad or speak to him after he left my mom for a 21-year-old? Original post. I, 17 male, live with my mom, 46, my brother, 13, and my dad, 50. My relationship with my dad has always been rocky, and he's let me down many times before, but this time feels like the final straw. Last Wednesday, he told us completely out of the blue that he asked my mom for a divorce because he wasn't in love with her anymore and had feelings for his 21-year-old co-worker Rebecca. For context, she just turned 21. We would have literally been in high school at the same time. I was furious. My parents have been together since 2003. Their relationship has had issues, but this was still shocking. What made it even weirder was how impulsive and unlike him it was. He left the house the next day after non-stop fighting, packed his stuff into our car, and went to sleep in a parking lot. The car and the house are both in my mom's name, and he only had $18 in his personal bank account when he left. Then the next morning, he suddenly came back saying he felt like he was in a trance, that the fog had lifted, and that he made a huge mistake. He begged for another chance. My mom thinks he was genuinely delusional and believes it may be tied to his health. He had a severe case of West Nile virus in 2021 that caused lasting neurological issues and personality changes. She's choosing to forgive him and is letting him stay. I don't buy it. I think he only came crawling back because the fantasy he built in his head wasn't actually going to work. My mom is the sole breadwinner and has supported us our entire lives. My dad has a part-time job as a pizza delivery man. However, his money is only used for his stuff, cigs, gas, etc. I think he realized he blew up his entire life for a girl half his age who didn't actually want him, and now he's trying to do damage control. He's been trying to talk to me, apologizing, saying he loves me and wants to fix things, but I'm ignoring him completely. I feel guilty sometimes because I can tell it hurts him, but I honestly don't think I can forgive him. This situation is just the most recent in a long pattern of disappointment and selfishness. My mom respects my decision, but she clearly hopes I'll try to work on my relationship with him again. But I'm not interested. I still live at home for another year before college, so I'm just planning on avoiding him completely. Am I the a-hole for refusing to give my dad another chance, even though he might have been mentally unwell when he made that decision? Now for the top comments before reading the update. The 21-year-old probably didn't want him, so he blamed his actions on a trance. Your mom must be really gullible if she believes that story. I'd ignore him too. I don't think my mom is gullible. I think she loves him dearly, has devoted 20 years of her life to him, has 2 kids with him, and wants to believe he's a good man. I don't fault her at all in any way, regardless of if she continues to stay with him or not. Trust is a fragile thing. Once destroyed, it is almost impossible to get back. Your father thinks he can just walk back in and have everything the way it was, and that isn't going to happen anytime soon. Don't kick yourself. You are not to blame for what happened, and you are under no obligation to forgive and forget. That said, I do think your father's bizarre behavior is due to some health issue. He obviously needs to be seen by a doctor. He has stated he is going to see a new therapist and psychiatrist. He already sees multiple doctors often, including a neurologist, as he has a slew of health problems, including lasting effects of West Nile virus. Now for the update 2 months later. Quick refresher. My dad, 50, randomly told my mom, 46, he wanted a divorce because he was in love with his 21-year-old co-worker. He left, then came back the next day, saying he was in some kind of fog and wanted forgiveness. My mom decided to take him back, but I said I wasn't interested in repairing things with him. Fast forward to my birthday trip, about 2 weeks after the initial situation. We were going to the beach with me, my mom, my brother, and my best friend. My dad was staying home because we have a lot of animals, and it was easier for him to just stay than to pay for them all to be watched. I was actually really looking forward to it because it felt like the first time I'd get a break from all the chaos with my dad. Then my dad decided to drive 7 hours to our Airbnb as some kind of grand gesture. My mom claims she didn't know he was coming until he called her while already 3 hours into the drive, but I don't really buy that. The plan was apparently for him to stay the night, and she had already paid for an extra spot so he could come with us on the boat tour and dinner. So it's hard for me to believe she had no idea. Here's the kicker. She wasn't even planning on telling me. She literally wanted it to be a surprise that he just walked in the door. The only reason I knew was because she brought it up to my best friend, I'll call her Jane, that morning. Mom says she asked Jane if she should tell me, and Jane told her no. But Jane straight up told me all she was asked was if she thought I'd be upset. And she said yes. Later on, while we were out, Jane told me what was happening anyway, and that my dad was about an hour away. My mom got pissed at her for telling me. When I found out, I was devastated. I had explicitly said I was excited to get away from him on this trip, and instead, it turned into this whole thing. My mom was mad at me for being upset and kept saying things like, "It's still your dad. You'll have to get over it eventually," and "He's trying to show he cares." She even tried to spin it like maybe he was doing it for her, to prove he cared about fixing their marriage by showing up for us. She kept saying, "Well, I feel happy he did it," and I just felt like screaming because this was my birthday, not hers. My mom said he was coming to give me a birthday card, so I was expecting a long, thoughtful written card. He drove 7 hours to hand me a card with 2 sentences in it. "I'm sorry for what I did. I will make it up to you." That's it. After all that, he stayed for maybe a few minutes, then turned right around and drove all the way back home because I was so upset. There also wasn't even enough room in the Airbnb for him to stay, so they didn't think that through. That was mid-July. I've gone back to talking to my dad normally, but only to keep the peace. I don't want to, but if I start ignoring him again, it'll set my mom off, and I don't have the energy for more fights. So I'm just stuck pretending everything's fine when it's not. It's exhausting to constantly have my boundaries pushed aside, and I genuinely don't get how they think that's supposed to make me forgive him. My parents' relationship seems to be better. I am only viewing it from the outside, but they've been going on dates, been more touchy-feely, spending more time together, etc. If they really did fix things permanently, I am happy for them. My mom deserves to be happy. However, I feel that him changing his behavior doesn't erase the things he did in the past. I don't feel like I want a close relationship with him ever, even if he's changed. Am I in the wrong to not move on and forgive, even if he has truly changed? He came back because the 21-year-old said no. That's it. Maybe your mom needs that explained to her. The mother knows already. It's why she's pushing OP to just get over it, because she wants to sweep everything under the rug rather than deal with her own feelings. It's likely why the parents' relationship appears to be improving. Dad is love-bombing mom. She is also likely desperately trying to avoid dealing with the truth, so she is letting this delusional BS continue and trying to keep the farce alive. Why do people think that when a parent and spouse leave a marriage, they don't leave the child? The mom has never considered that the father walked out on this child's family as well, not just the mom. To be with a 21-year-old person who's probably closer to the child's age than to the mother's age. I know we'd like to tell our young children that, no, when mom and dad split up, dad didn't leave you. But the fact is that dad left the family unit, which included the child, so not the a-hole. Yes, she is 4 years older than me and would have been a senior when I was a freshman. So in theory, she could have been my peer. Are you grossed out by that? I would never bring any friends around him. I knew a guy like your dad, and people would say okay R. Kelly to him instead of okay boomer. But I'm not sure if you want to take it that far in your head. Yes, I am extremely grossed out by it. I can't shake the disgust I feel, even though he claims he never actually had feelings for her. To me, even if he was in a fog or whatever, he still viewed someone only 3 to 4 years older than me as not a child. I really just can't shake that no matter how hard I try. Next story. Am I the a-hole for disrespecting my ex-wife's new husband with the crime of getting along with my former in-laws? Ex-wife, 34 female, and I, 36, divorced 4 years ago, after a 2.5-year-long divorce. We split physical and legal custody of our children, 11, 9, and 6. Things are not civil, and as you can tell, our divorce process started during her pregnancy with our youngest. I won't go into all the details, but we divorced after a large financial betrayal, on top of years of both of us feeling like there was little respect for the other. The divorce was not civil, and it dragged on for as long as it did, not because of the pregnancy alone, but for financial reasons. My ex was dating her current husband by the end of our divorce, and it was an awkward period. Ex's family and I remain on good terms, which bothers her husband and always did. Because my ex doesn't want to take the kids shopping for my birthday or Father's Day when asked, her parents have, and that bothers him because they don't do the same for him. I do it for my ex because the kids ask. I include Christmas gifts in that because, again, I'm asked. Her husband doesn't like it, but he sure as heck never has. The most recent issue came up when my kids asked to have me for father and kids photos that my ex's family were organizing. They invited me, and I went and took the photos with my kids. Ex's family and I talked for a while, and I left the event early, but it pissed him off that I talked to ex's family at all, and didn't leave as soon as the photos were done. But what really bothered him was that I was invited instead of them having him stand in for the dad photos. The kids didn't get photos with him that day, which may have created more problems. But ultimately, he complains that I disrespected him by getting along with his wife's family, his words, and she's got his back because she thinks it's unfair her family doesn't hate me like she does. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole, you're their dad. If she has issues with you having a relationship with your children's grandparents, aunts and uncles, etc., she can take that up with them. She has more than once, and she gives me grief when they tell her they will not stop being friendly with me. I get even more grief when they remind her I will always be the father of the kids, and the kids should come first. Honestly, if she keeps feeding his insecurities, this will only lead to bad relationships between the kids and him, and for that alone, I'm sorry for your kids. On a different note, thank you for putting any past issues with your ex aside and still putting your kids' needs and wants first. The shopping for holidays, even for gifts for her, does make your household feel safer usually, which is so beneficial for them to have that safe space. It already has. They don't really care for him much, and I believe that is a direct result of the pettiness and animosity they likely feel coming from him toward me, and maybe even ex toward me. But they love their mom, and I try my best to support that love. I'll always do what I can for my kids. Putting aside my issues with my ex has not been easy, but the kids never needed to be put in the middle because we have strong negative feelings for each other. Not the a-hole, you are taking care of your children the best way you know how. And it sounds like your ex's family are doing this as well. Keep being gracious and kind and civil. They can take their disrespect and shove it. You're their dad, always will be. That's what her family told me too. And they want the kids to feel secure in their love while loving me, which I appreciate. Plus, we always got along, and for the sake of the kids, we don't really want that to end. Last story. Am I the a-hole for breaking up with my girlfriend after she complained about the $800 necklace I got her? I, 19 male, had been dating my girlfriend, 18 female, for about 8 months. Things had been going pretty well, and her birthday was coming up last week. I wanted to do something special for her, something that would really show how much I cared. So, I started saving up months in advance. Between classes and my part-time job, I picked up extra shifts, sometimes working late into the night just so I could put aside money. After 2 months, I finally had enough to get her something nice. I decided on jewelry, a gold necklace with her birthstone. It wasn't a random choice either. I spent weeks going from one jewelry store to another, comparing designs and prices, wanting to get something meaningful. I even asked her best friend for advice, thinking she'd steer me in the right direction. She told me a necklace would be perfect. The one I finally picked out cost $800, basically everything I had in savings at the time. But to me it was worth it. I was excited to see her face when she opened the box. When the day came, I wrapped it carefully and gave it to her, feeling nervous but happy. She opened the box, and instead of the smile I was expecting, her expression dropped. She looked at the necklace and said in the flattest voice, "Oh, it's jewelry." My heart sank instantly. Then she added, "I thought you knew I don't really wear gold. I'm more of a silver person." I was crushed. I had poured so much effort into this, thinking it would mean the world to her. Instead, she dismissed it in seconds. Trying to brush off my disappointment, I waited for her to at least say something nice, but then she followed it up with, "Couldn't you have gotten me something more practical, like maybe helped with my textbooks or something?" That's when I snapped. I told her that if she couldn't appreciate the thought, effort, and sacrifice I had put into her gift, then maybe we weren't right for each other. She started crying, saying I was overreacting and that she was just being honest about her preferences. Since then, things have blown up. Her friends have been spamming my phone, calling me a massive a-hole. They're saying she was just communicating her preferences, and that after 8 months, I should have known what she liked. My own friends, the guys I work with and hang out with, say she's ungrateful and that I dodged a bullet. Now I'm torn. Part of me wonders if I did overreact. Maybe I should have just shrugged it off and accepted her honesty. But another part of me feels like after all the effort I put in, the least she could have done was say thank you, even if it wasn't her style. A little appreciation would have gone a long way. So now I'm stuck asking myself, am I really the a-hole here? This is why you ask people what they want for their birthday. At 18, I got an expensive set of pearl earrings. They looked like something my great-grandmother would wear. He looked at me so proudly, but I absolutely hated them. I too was in college and could have used something more practical, like gas money, since I lived an hour away from school. Just because something is expensive, are we automatically supposed to like it? If I detest monkeys and someone got me a diamond-encrusted monkey, am I supposed to be grateful? This is a learning experience for UOP. Learn what your partner actually likes and then get her something close to it. You can also ask, "Hey, your birthday is coming up. Is there anything you specifically want?" If she tells you, get her that. This too, never assume what someone wants. You base a surprise on things you gauge her by asking little questions and showing interest in her. Like the fact you were getting her jewelry, you should have known her preference first. Jewelry is a huge thing to get someone and to just guess. I know OP said he went through her bestie, but as we see, it is wiser if he would have just talked to his girlfriend. You're the a-hole because she was telling you she ain't a gold digger. She doesn't want useless jewelry, and she was trying to be honest. You freaked out because you were hurt she didn't like it and embarrassed about how much time and effort you put in for a flop. She wasn't being ungrateful. She was saying that extreme amount of money could have been used in a way to actually be used, not just worn sometimes on the neck.